The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The move.
B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us? Cause we're slinging on the ground, slinging on the ground. You wanna mess with us? Cause we're slinging on the ground.
Hello, and welcome to the Wrestling Landscape Podcast, our first return episode after the mega weekend that was SummerSlam weekend, which saw the New Japan G1 Finals, Ring of Honor Summer Supercard, NXT TakeOver Toronto, and SummerSlam. I was exhausted. Basically took a 2-week break after that. But now we're back on the Rasslin Rewind podcast with your returning co-hosts, Luke Larson. Luke, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
I am well. And conversely, Trevor Larson, how are you?
I've been better.
Was
this pay-per-view really got me down.
I was just about to ask if the show we're reviewing has anything to do with that. So, I have finally returned to the gimmick of me drinking something while we record. It's coffee, though.
Usually it's alcohol, yeah.
Usually it's alcohol. That gimmick died really quick on this podcast, though. It held up for a couple months, and then it's just like...
Just like your viewers.
Oh, that hurts.
Wow.
But it's like, if I'm recording at 10 in the morning, I can't have whiskey.
Depends what kind of person you want to be.
It depends what kind of person I want to be.
What kind of life choices have you made, Lance?
I'm making very specific life choices to not have whiskey at 10 in the morning.
That's a good start.
Yeah,
Positive start.
Anyway, folks, on Rasslin Rewind, we are talking WCW World War III, 1997, from November the 23rd of that year, from... Was this in Ann Arbor? I forgot to write it down.
No, Palace of Auburn Hills, Michigan.
Yeah.
Palace of Auburn Hills.
Kevin Nash's hometown.
Yes. Which is technically Detroit, but it's like a... Yeah, anyway. It's a suburb of...
Oh, what was... Somebody had a sign that said...
Chris Benoit's the best thing going. I saw that
sign.
No, it was about Kevin Nash. It was like, this town... It was really bad. Like, this town hates you. Like, it was like... almost really insulting.
Threatening violence.
It was like a little girl holding the sign.
Yes.
Nice.
So, when you go to one of your top stars' hometowns, it makes a lot of sense to not book them in any matches. So,
well,
we'll get to it.
We'll get there.
We'll get to it. As I am learning watching these old WCW pay-per-views, if you have
what are you learning?
What have we learned today?
I'm learning lots of things. That if you have hot enough stars in an angle that people care enough about, they're willing to overlook a lot of stuff. Eventually, though, that willingness to overlook stuff burns out, as we have seen over and over again in the history of pro wrestling. And honestly, we're seeing right now in 2019.
Well, and we'll see how after the Sting-Hogan match goes. People have been waiting for this match. You can tell people are hungry for that match.
Yes.
But after that, what are you going to do?
Exactly. And that's the big thing about why the NWO story never ends. Like, literally up until 2001. Like, it just doesn't end. So we'll get to that. All right. That's coming. We, to prepare listeners, our Starrcade 97 episode, the next Rasslin Rewind, I'm anticipating being our larger WCW discussion on why it ended, how it should have ended, how the NWO should have ended, because it definitely should have ended.
And we're doing a plug already for the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, see, this is the casual wrestling podcast, the informal wrestling podcast, so I can promise things and not deliver. So,
kind of like WCW.
Kind of like WCW. And if you've been paying attention to WWE's marketing, kind of like WWE. So we are here on Saturday, August the 24th, Vince McMahon's birthday.
Oh,
is it really?
Birthday?
It is Vince McMahon's birthday. 74, was it?
That's
Wow.
it?
That's it. So I was thinking about, while I was on the can this morning, that Vince McMahon is probably the single most influential person in the history of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue there is anyone else.
It's hard to argue because I was thinking about like the Luderoth family and El Santo in Mexico and how influential they were, or like Rikidozan and like Giant Baba and Antonio Inoki in Japan. But it's or even like Gus Sonnenberg here in the States. But it's like Vince really has had much more of a global influence than any of those people. So I would say Vince McMahon is the single most influential person.
Tell that to Saudi Arabia.
Anywho, I would say Vince McMahon's the most influential person in this business's history.
To sports.
So folks, as usual, before we jump into the show,
You got some stats, you got some background.
got some stats, got some background. So, Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter
Oh boy.
does the polls after
guy.
the show.
Good guy.
Folks can call in, email in, give their thumbs up, thumbs down on the show. Of the responses he got, 22% were thumbs up. 13% were thumbs middle.
Uh-oh.
And
You can do the math.
64%,
Yeah.
64% were thumbs down on this show.
What was the last one? Do you still have it?
I think it was like 44% thumbs down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
a Halloween
it was
Havoc.
pretty evenly spread.
See, I thought I liked this one better than the last one.
You and I disagree
Wow.
wholeheartedly. The voted best match on the show, to no one's surprise, is Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
Yep. That's what I had. That's what I thought.
We'll get to it.
Trev's silence is
So,
amazing.
this is an audio, so you guys couldn't have seen that joke, but Trevor checked his notes like he was going to disagree wholeheartedly, and then just put him down and looked right back at me.
You know, I have not seen that much said by someone saying nothing since Sting in 1997.
Oh!
Does he ever say a word?
No.
That was his shtick, though. That was
No,
his shtick.
he does. Well, he points his bat at people,
points
and
his
that's
bat at
1,000
people.
words. You know.
That's a novel right there.
Guys, so I've been watching these pay-per-views since Fall Brawl 97. I haven't seen Sting once.
He hasn't been. He comes out, or 1,000 Stings come out, or in this case,
Right, but like, I
we'll
haven't
get
even,
to that later. in
yeah,
this
I haven't
video.
even seen him come out. Like, that was his whole thing, that he hasn't wrestled since Fall Brawl 96. Like, that was his thing, right? That he was kind of disillusioned by WCW not trusting him, but he didn't want to join NWO. And so it was like, he's going to be the guy to take down NWO.
You would
Well,
think.
part of the reason why I don't think he showed up to this one was the very last Nitro before this, the NWO beat him up. So
Did you watch the Nitros
I
again?
watched all
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Nitros.
good.
again.
This is good.
This is good. I'm glad I got
So
Luke
I
here
don't
for
want to do
context.
that, so
I
I'm
am
glad
not
you do.
doing
I don't blame you for not wanting
I'm
to.
glad you do it because I don't want to do it.
I refuse.
Yeah,
So-
they're wonderful.
Anyway, and
I was gonna. Sorry,
no, go ahead, please.
I was gonna ask if Sting was on Nitros
Because the way the show ended. Anyway, and what was voted the worst match was the main event battle royal, the 60-man battle royal.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. Wow, we're gonna disagree a lot on this show, Trevor. So
Oh, that was the lowest one?
that was voted the worst match of the show.
Which,
Um,
I mean, Alex Wright is
Oh.
fighting, so I'm not sure how you can get lower than that.
I love that Trevor hates Alex Wright.
I have since
Wait.
the beginning.
We need to wait until he gets to the... Because I thought... No, listen, this wasn't some transcendent character. But I thought his Berlin gimmick was far better than his Alex Wright gimmick. That's coming.
Which comes in '98, or
It comes later.
Alex Wright was generally regarded as a decent worker.
by whom?
I'm just from what
Bischoff, Hogan.
Russo.
I'm sure not Hogan.
No, Hogan didn't think anyone was a good worker by
I don't think
himself.
Hogan thought anyone was good. Okay. Business side of things. This show was attended by 17,128 fans. 15,735 of them were paid, giving them a ticket sales at gate of $407,000, which is a record for NW for not NWA.
You almost called it NWO.
I almost
World
called it
War III.
Oh no, it's working on me. Which was a record for WCW at the time, which broke their previous record of Halloween Havoc the month before.
Uh-oh.
So
It's
WCW
climbing.
exactly.
You've got to be kidding me.
So
with this.
It's got to
Business-
peak at some point.
Business is good for WCW. And spoiler alert, guys, it continues going up past Starrcade. And Starrcade is the most bought pay-per-view, but business as a whole keeps going up. Because when you do something hot, people jump on afterwards because they hear that something was hot and they start joining.
Mhm.
It's a weird thing about wrestling. And so they come on and they stay on, so it doesn't matter that it's crappy. They still stay on until it gets so crappy they can't do it anymore.
Until sold out happens.
Yeah, so
Or uncensored.
so it's a weird thing with pro wrestling. Even if business is good, that doesn't mean you're putting on a good product, because people might still be hanging on because of something you previously did good.
Like people probably hang on after WrestleMania.
Yep.
Viewers are probably pretty good after that.
Yep. And the Attitude Era is good, so people hang on for 10 years and then can't take it anymore and drop off. So.
Or they turn 40 and they have to get real lives.
Wife makes them stop watching.
That's right.
Or in Luke's case, wife makes him start watching.
That's right. Praise the Lord.
In merch, they sold $139,000 in merch.
Jeez.
Which I'm like, think about how much stuff the NWO is selling. Think about
Yeah.
like Sting masks.
Those NWO shirts have to be flying off
Yep.
the
Yeah,
shelves.
and the Sting masks, those are crazy.
Yeah.
It had a lower 0.56 buy rate, which translates to about 205,000 buys. So not as much interest on pay-per-view, but in total, an estimated $3.62 million of revenue on this night.
Didn't the last one make like 6 something?
6, yep.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, this was also Survivor Series month. So if people are picking one pay-per-view over the other, they might pick the bigger Survivor Series.
You
over
gotta buy
one.
them
Yep.
at this
Right.
point.
Right, because a lot of people probably don't want to spend $60 on wrestling a month. So
No.
now let's compare this to Survivor Series numbers.
Oh, man.
This was the Montreal Survivor Series. So when you Google any kind of business for Survivor Series 97, you don't get any because all it talks about is Montreal. So I have nothing on the Survivor Series business of 97. Nothing to compare it to. Because no one talks about how many tickets were sold, how much merch were sold, how many pay-per-views were sold. All they talk about is the screw job.
Interesting fact.
Yes.
The second to last Nitro before
Yes.
World War III, on the same night, Rick Rude appeared on Nitro and Raw.
Yes, that is true.
Because Raw was taped.
Yes. And Rude was upset about the screw
Yep.
job.
And so he had it taped and then quit and then went to WCW. So on the same night, he literally appeared on Nitro and Raw.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
I completely forgotten that, but that is 100% true. I believe that is the only time that has ever happened.
And he had different facial hair in both shows.
Yes, you're so right. Yes.
He had a beard in Raw and he had just a mustache in Nitro.
Oh, that
Fun
is
fact
funny.
for the fans.
That is funny.
Rick Rude is a god.
Yes, he is.
There was one Monday. I believe that's the only time it's ever actually happened. There was one Monday where Raw and Nitro were like an hour away, and Shawn Michaels got upset at Raw and threatened to just drive to Nitro, which didn't happen.
That would
Obviously.
have been amazing.
That would have been amazing. He would have been sued for breach of contract
Might
by
have been
Vince McMahon.
saved. Might have saved WCW.
Well, he wouldn't have been legally allowed to. Like, Bischoff would have put him on and just dealt with the legal stuff later.
Oh, absolutely. He wouldn't have cared. He's like, Ted, we got a big thing coming down the pike. Just deal with it. Trust me, business is gonna boom after this, I promise.
The only pro wrestler Ted Turner knew was Ric Flair. So,
I was gonna say, did Ted Turner even know who was working for him at the time?
Ted Turner did not give a crap about what was happening in WCW. He said, we're never getting rid of WCW because when he first started TBS, wrestling was his highest rated programming, and that's what like got TBS and TNT off the TNT didn't exist.
Interesting.
That's what got TBS off the ground. So he just made an edict: we're never getting rid of wrestling.
Interesting.
Like he didn't watch it, but
I'm
he's
sure
like,
he
we're
never saw an episode.
But nostalgia, he's just like, we're never getting rid of wrestling because his station was built on wrestling and the Braves. So
Oh yeah, Braves had TBS for a while.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they were good then.
they were really good in the mid '90s. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. But then when Ted Turner lost control, it was not long after that WCW was canceled.
Sucked.
Because when you're losing $60 million a year, management usually doesn't want to keep you.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like.
I don't know what that's like either. Can you imagine? We'll get to that.
Anyway.
This is not the. It's
Neither
coming,
here nor there.
folks.
Neither here nor there.
We are doing a Death of WCW episode.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling Luke I kind of wanted to conjoin it with our Starrcade 97 episode, and just like if it's 3 hours, it's 3 hours.
That's what I was just thinking, but...
Yeah. So we'll see, but we're not there yet. World War III 97, November 23rd.
Here we go.
We are opening up. I didn't look up if there was any dark matches, so I'm sure there usually are, but I don't care. So the opening match on the pay-per-view.
It probably couldn't have been any better than what we watched.
There's no way it could have been. Or knowing WCW, I'm sure
It probably was, actually. Now that I think about it. They probably had like 3 5-star matches in their dark matches.
That's so true. Oh, that's amazing. They probably had Jushin Liger versus like Silver King, and it's like 3-3. Oh,
He was in the Battle Royal.
he was in the battle.
Bischoff's like, we can't show this.
Oh,
Hogan probably said that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
oh, jeez. Anyway, World War III, the opening match. Oh, 14 minutes in, we're finally getting to the opening match.
Oh, there we go.
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah. So it's Faces of Fear.
You know, okay.
We haven't even said the other team yet.
Okay, I'm okay with these guys.
Sure.
Faces of Fear?
They're not
They're fine.
hot trash. They're not
They're
the worst
fine.
thing on this pay-per-view.
No.
They're not. They're okay.
Faces of Fear are one of the worst things on this pay-per-view. And they're going against the team of Glacier, as seen on AEW's Double or Nothing, teaming with Trevor's all-time favorite wrestler, Ernest the Cat.
Yes, the cat. I saw him live.
Did you really?
Fun fact, yes.
How is Glacier not worse than the Faces of Fear?
This is, are you joking?
I hate Glacier so much.
Okay, to everyone listening, you have to go watch this match. The amount of timing issues that these four men have with each other is astonishing.
It's so bad.
No move looks good. Everything looks so like they started. It's like, oh, he's not there. Oh, here we go. The worst timing I've seen in a Major League Pro match.
Well, and part of the problem was, and this is me watching the Nitros,
Yes.
like, for whatever reason, the Faces of Fear start attacking Glacier, and Ernest Miller comes out to save him, so they decide to make a tag match for the next pay-per-view.
Just cause.
Right.
Just because. And I'm like, all right, now way to build that storyline up.
Because our pay-per-view has to be 3 hours, and God forbid we have 2 cruiserweight matches.
They were just duct taping the space between Halloween Havoc and Starrcade. That's all this
Remember
was.
a couple pay-per-views ago and the Cat was the TV champion?
I don't, actually.
That dude does not deserve a belt.
I think it was
in any way,
around
shape, or
Road Wild,
form.
which...
I did not watch Road Wild, thank the good Lord. I hope to never to. If we keep going month by month with this, we're skipping every Road Wild.
How many
I think
pay-per-views
it'd
are we
be-
going to skip?
We're skipping Road Wild.
What, are we going to skip Sold Out, Uncensored? What are we going to skip?
Nope, we're just skipping Road Wild. Actually, no, we have to watch Road Wild. Okay, anyway. So really, this match had 3 cool moves. Ernest the Cat did like that leaping plancha
Yeah.
when he jumped off
That was
Mang's
cool.
chest.
That
or
was cool,
Barbarian's
yeah.
chest. But other than that, bland as could possibly be, atrocious timing and work. I gave it 0.75. I gave it 3/4 of a star, folks. Trevor?
So they did... I was trying to figure out who were, like, the faces in this.
That's actually a good point.
Because the
I didn't think
the
about
crowd
that.
was, like, cheering a little bit for Faces of Fear, which I don't know if they're trying to... It feels like every time I see them, they're trying to make them the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
But the crowd cheers for them. And so they did a hot tag. Glacier was getting beat up and tags in the Cat, and no one really cheers. And
Nobody
then
ever cheered for the Cat.
4 moves later, Cat gets pinned.
It's true. No, it's really true.
And I literally wrote, hot tag, but Faces of Fear are faces.
Well, they are called the Faces of Fear.
So I went, what was the point of the hot tag? It's not even really a hot tag.
It's not even a hot tag.
I mean, he got a couple of those like clotheslines in where he did his like Kamehameha thing,
Yeah.
and then he,
But some of the moves were fun. Again, I guess I like Faces of Fear more than you guys.
Yeah, you know.
I think they're fine.
So I gave it a 2.
I think they're fine. I mean, I would just be reiterating. Yeah, I gave it a 1.75.
Yeah.
I feel like with a lot of these matches, instead of what I found myself doing was instead of grading it based on like a scale of like all time, I found myself like adjusting to the curve of this pay-per-view. And so I was grading it based on like the pay-per-view as a whole as opposed to just wrestling.
Yes.
And so I gave higher marks and I go back and go, man, why did I give it that high of a mark? But
Yeah.
I gave
I
it
do that too.
1.75 was mine. So
Totally.
yeah,
I think you're right, Trevor. Glacier and the Cat were the faces, but because the Faces of Fear were like, they're kind of like bruisers and they kick butt and stuff like that, which for the last 25 years has gotten over as a face in pro wrestling. The crowd was into that. So I think it was just the crowd was into them regardless of who was who. Big old Melts. We will be giving Dave Meltzer star ratings in every match as we go through. Again, I feel the need to reiterate this every podcast, but not because I think he's right on everything, but because people know how he's grades and they can kind of compare their ratings against his. Gives a good feel for it.
it's a good standard to use.
It's a good standard. He's well known. There's a lot of, I don't know if you guys know this, there's a lot of anti-Dave Meltzer sentiment in the online wrestling community.
I see that he, like, tweets other people that what they say to him and like
Yeah.
fires back at him?
Yeah, they just like insult him and make fun of him. So it's people.
Really?
Yeah, people sell like F Dave Meltzer T-shirts.
So
It's,
weird.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I get if you don't like him, but why go that?
yeah.
far?
I know that's how. So like Wade Keller's probably like the second biggest wrestling journalist behind Meltzer. I disagree with him a ton, but like I still listen to him. I don't wish any harm on the guy. Like
Yeah.
like I got nothing against him. I just
Screw
think
him.
I just think he's wrong. So it's
The hell with him.
really bizarre to me. But whatever. So big Dave Meltz, Dumb Meltz gave this
Any other nicknames?
Ryan Randy.
Big D,
Davey M.
Davey Meltz.
Meltzer. Meltzer driver. No, wait, that's the Young Bucks
Peaches?
finisher.
There you go.
He gave this a big fat
Peaches.
goose egg. 0.
That shouldn't shock me.
A dud, if you will. Before we move on, gentlemen, what are you two drinking?
Oh, I am drinking what's called a Zions energy drink.
Yes.
I've been drinking them for an eternity now. It seems like
And the same flavor too.
this is the exact. I mean, I've tried other flavors, but blueberry pomegranate's my favorite. So
Nostalgia
Big
too.
one.
You know, I've been doing.
Trevor.
I'm also drinking an energy drink. It's called Bang. I had to get a bang in before this.
You had to make a sex pun, didn't you?
I bounce back between Bang and Sciences and what's called Rain energy drink too. I don't think I've had the same flavor. I usually have one every day. I haven't had the same flavor for like 3 weeks now. So I'm just trying everything out. There
Fair
we go.
enough. And of course.
And this has more caffeine than the Zions does.
Oh, so
does it really?
Mm-hmm. This has 300 per can. Zions has like 160.
So you're banging.
Got to get that big bang in there.
There's 300 milligrams of caffeine in that. You know, 400 is like the limit that like you
Except
should.
for fat people.
I have over 400.
So that's how you get around it.
Hey. And I am drinking my friend's pressed coffee. I can't remember where it's from. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, we got to get this next match. I'm so excited for it.
I bet you can't wait. I was watching this match and I texted Trevor's like, oh my god, I'm so done with disco.
I literally wrote in my notes, it says right here, disco sucks. I just had to write it down.
We have Disco Inferno challenging Perry Saturn for the TV title.
Perry Saturn, that's his first name?
That is his first name.
Yeah, oh, was he not going by Perry Saturn?
I thought he was just going by Saturn.
Right now he's just going by Saturn.
Oh, my mistake. It's just Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is the TV champ.
Yeah, the TV title.
The TV title.
It's a strange thing.
You know, in addition to their U.S. title and their heavyweight title and their cruiserweight title. Lots of singles titles.
Again, this is the first time I've seen Saturn on a pay-per-view, so
Really? Okay.
he hasn't shown up before.
You know what's funny? He was also regarded as a decent worker. And so it's just like so funny to watch his matches and it's like
I thought he was okay. I
it's
think he's
nothing.
okay.
He was fine. I just expected more. Maybe it was Disco.
What was so weird about this match is I wrote down Disco as a face question mark because Saturn and all Ravens flock, is that what they're called?
Yep.
They were like bad guys that got booed, and they come in and they face Disco, who's a NWO member, and it's like,
Wait, Disco's in the NWO?
isn't he? He was.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, he was. No, he was for a time. He already was.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, was he really?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Maybe he was kicked out already.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, if
WCW.
they kick a giant out, they're going to kick Disco
Disco.
out.
See, they haven't told me at a pay-per-view, so sometimes I get lost with who's on what team. So I was like, who are they going to cheer for in this one? Anyways,
Goodness. So I didn't know Saturn was a part of Raven's flock.
Yeah.
they all
That-
came out with their jean shorts and jeans.
He came out with the flock, and I was like, oh, I did not know this.
Mm-hmm.
So this Saturn retained.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about who won the first match, and we won't because it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, does anyone really care?
Saturn kept the TV title here.
I just changed my rating.
Disco
It's amazing. It really is. Like, the more you think about it,
Disco sucks as a face. There were some punches thrown. Saturn did a couple of cool suplexes.
Yes.
I felt like there was nothing to this. There was nothing to this. Even the finish I didn't like because Disco hit a crossbody or whatever, and then Saturn just rolled through and no sold it and put on the rings of Saturn, and that was it. Like, I hate that. If someone hits a move, how are you just fine? But whatever.
Well, I will say, though, I do think that the Rings of Saturn are the best, one of the best named finishers in
Yes.
professional
That's really
wrestling.
cool.
And
Yeah.
a good looking move.
Yes, it is.
Because like it looks like something that would legitimately hurt. Someone's pulling your arms back
Right,
like that,
yeah,
broken
no,
on your
exactly.
shoulders. But because it's wrestling, it wouldn't actually hurt because you just don't pull on it that hard, and it's fine.
And it's fine, yeah.
So, in pro wrestling, if you move that looks like it hurts, but it doesn't actually, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I gave it 1.75, 1.75, just for the effort, really because of Saturn.
Yes.
He carried that match.
Yep.
Disco, listen, how he makes it onto every pay-per-view blows my mind. But I agree wholeheartedly with Cody Rhodes when he says that Disco Inferno has drawn $0 in this business.
And he has a belt. He had a belt on him at one point.
He did. Yes, he
Gosh,
did.
he did.
He had the TV title at one time. He had the Cruiserweight title at one time,
He
too.
did have the cruiserweight.
I'm sure he had the U.S. title at one point. Like, I'm sure he did.
It's
but
like a disgrace to those belts.
it is a disgrace to those belts.
Like, I feel bad for the belts.
Glenn Gilberti, ladies and gentlemen. Trevor.
Oh, the match?
Yeah, yes.
Well, I just bumped my rating down
As we're talking about it.
to 1.25 because of
Excellent.
Saturn. Saturn was okay enough. He pumped it up to 1.25.
You got to pass that star.
Yeah.
I gave it 2.25.
2.25 from Luke.
2.25, yeah.
See, that's what I originally had. But then, as we
And you
started-
dropped it down a whole star?
Yeah. As I start thinking about Disco, I just
It's
Sure.
hard to not think about Disco and just, no. But yeah, I like I said before, I kind of graded a lot of these on a curve
Mhm.
from the pay-per-view in and of itself, as opposed to, so mine might be a little bit higher than yours, but that's just, kind of just blended together, to be
Luke,
honest with you.
Your rating is your rating. Never apologize
Yeah.
for it. Okay, Big Old Davey, Big Melts, Dub Melts,
Peaches?
Davey Melts, Meltsy Dave.
his wife calls him
Gave,
Peaches.
funny thing is, I won't get into that. Okay, Melts gave this a 1/4 star,
I don't blame him.
0.25.
So wait, we have a 0
We
and
have a 0 and a 1/4
0.25
star.
from Dave
We
Meltzer
are
so far.
averaging a 0.125 star rating from the Meltzer on this pay-per-view.
This
so
pay-per-view
far.
is on fire right
This
now.
pay-per-view is on fire. Thank God it picks up next
Yes, it does.
with Yuji Nagata.
Oh.
Hold on, before
Hallelujah.
we get to that match.
Yes.
So Big Show does this little promo.
Oh, yes.
backstage.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Big
yes,
Show did the
yes.
promo.
Well, the only reason I want to go back to it is because I made a note about it. I could hear anything in the pay-per-view. I heard everything. I heard all the commentaries. I heard all the promos. I heard everything. When Big Show did his promo, I had to turn my volume way up. I could not hear a word Big Show was saying. He was so quiet for 3/4 of that. Anyways, that's all I had to say.
Listen, unless you're Jake Roberts, usually quiet promos don't work.
I was like, I can't hear anything he's saying.
Because nothing's more intimidating than a giant that's super soft-spoken.
Well, would you rather have the Giant cut a barely hearable promo, or Macho Man just rambling for...
We should put a poll out. That would be so funny. Macho Man rumbling or Big Show quiet?
I mean, you can
promo,
hear
which
Macho
one?
Man, but you can't understand him.
Which-
You can't hear the Giant, but you can't understand
Pick
him
one.
either.
Pick one.
See, that's why Liz and Macho Man got divorced. She couldn't understand him for 6 years straight.
He was probably
couldn't
saying a lot of
communicate.
nice things to her.
Yeah. He's probably very loving, I bet.
He probably was a really nice guy.
Yes, the verbal abuse was just misunderstood because he couldn't
a complete
articulate his
misunderstanding.
words. Gee,
Did he
I
just call me a B word? I can't tell.
listen. I have no proof of this, but there's no doubt in my mind that the Macho Man physically abused Liz. But we won't get into that.
We won't know if he verbally abused her.
We
Can anyone ever know, really?
they get him in court and they pull out a recording of it, and the judge is just like, "Listen, you can't submit this as evidence."
This sounds like someone trying to start a car.
Okay, we're moving on.
Anyway, one of the highlights of the pay-per-view.
Jesus.
Big Show talking.
No, the match. The next match.
The next match.
Yes, yeah.
Yuji Nagata defeating Ultimo Dragon. In a very good match.
Yes.
So, I don't know if you guys know this. New Japan,
Then no, I
with
don't know.
with whom WCW has a partnership with, does this thing called excursions for their young wrestlers. So they get them up in their dojo. They do opening matches on New Japan cards where they always lose because, they're the young guys.
They're the young guys, yeah.
And then they send them on excursion to a company that they have a partnership with in a different country, usually U.S. or Mexico, or sometimes the U.K. So Yuji Nagata, I'm assuming because it's your 2 pay-per-views in a row, and
Yes,
it's not just a one-off. I'm
Yeah.
assuming this is an excursion.
Ah.
So
Interesting.
he's here for a while, and excursions can be anywhere from a few months to like 2 years. So I have no idea how long we'll have.
Oh,
Yuji
so like a
Nagata.
Mormon mission.
Like a Mormon mission,
Just
yes.
for Japanese people.
Just for Japanese
Japanese
wrestlers. Good heavens. Okay.
I think Mike Tenay even mentioned that. I think he.
Did he say he's on excursion?
No, I think he mentioned that sometimes what Japanese wrestling promotions will do is they'll send. I don't think he ever used the word excursion, but I think he said they'll send them to other promotions to like get them experience and things like that. So I think he did mention that during this match.
That's been happening with Japanese wrestling since the JWA days. Decades and decades and decades ago. I think Antonio Inoki was not a big part of that, but because he got a lot of training in Brazil, which is why he took the name Antonio, because Antonio was not a Japanese name. One of the reasons why that was solidified with New Japan. So anyway, all that. This had very good work, I thought. There's some rest holds that were a little too long, and some Sonny Ono shenanigans, but overall. I thought it built well. I thought the last 5 minutes were absolutely the climax of the match.
Yeah,
there's some cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
Nagata hit a German suplex on Ultimo Dragon that he must have underestimated how much Dragon weighed, because he flew and Dragon landed right, as badly as you can on the back of your head.
I remember that.
And it looked really bad. So Nagata, wisely, right after he did that, he started posing to the crowd so he could give Ultimo Dragon some time to, get his bearings.
Nice.
Whoops. Because he must have known instantly, because he's just just started posing.
I was like, he wasn't really much of a poser.
No.
So to see him do that, I guess now that I think about it, something had to be.
Because I'm assuming, I've never wrestled. But I'm assuming he hit that German and he's like, that was way too high. And so he's like, I'll go buy him some time. So that's my assumption what
happens in the is the Hennig Flair match, I think, later on too. I think Hennig it happens later, I know, because I was like, oh, is that guy's neck okay?
Sally, that's a question that comes up way too much with pro wrestling.
Oh, it was Guerrero Mysterio, that's what it was. Guerrero does a suplex and Mysterio lands on his neck almost.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I actually think that might be what I'm thinking of. I think I might have gotten their spots confused. This is what I get for not writing that down.
I think he did. No, he did pose though.
He did. Now I can't remember. Oh well.
I'm not gonna go back and rewatch it.
This was a good match. Both these guys had solid work. I liked both these guys. People that know the history of wrestling know these are both good workers. So it's exactly what you'd expect out of these two. Trevor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Ultimate Dragon continues to grow on me. Pay-per-view after pay-per-view.
Yep.
I like him. Good cruiserweight. 3 stars.
Yeah. Luke.
Yeah, a lot of the same. It was one of those matches where, obviously, better than anything I'd seen so far. So, I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 3 3/4. I really, really liked this match. Big Dave, Demeltz,
Peaches,
gave it 3 flat.
Okay,
so he's still,
me and Dave know
he's he was flatlining, and now he is okay. Oh my goodness, okay,
but he's still under what most of us are giving it. So
he's got 3, 0, and 0.25 now.
So is that 3.25 divided by 3?
1.1 and
under 1.1 per match average. We're gonna keep this average thing going on per match.
We gotta do math as we keep going.
Gotta do math. Okay, next we had the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
Defending the tag titles over Steven Regal, now known as William Regal, teaming up with Dave Taylor. So
is he still Lord Steven Regal at this point?
I do not believe I heard the word Lord.
He was last pay-per-view.
Maybe he still is. Scott Steiner looks like an absolute lab experiment.
Vince is drooling. How can I get this guy to WWE?
Vince is calling him every single day.
Vince is blowing up his phone now.
Vince is blowing up his
Leaves
phone.
Voicemails.
While Scott is blowing up his muscles with juice.
He's got anchor arms. SpongeBob reference.
Because he's a freak. It's absurd, his body proportions.
And, he's a short guy, too, which just
he's
makes
not tall.
It just makes it even bigger.
Which is probably why Vince doesn't want him. The muscles aren't enough.
And they were in their hometown too.
They were.
They went to Michigan,
the University of Michigan,
and I almost muted it during this time because they referenced Michigan beating Ohio State and going to the Rose Bowl to play Washington State.
They did,
and I was like, the runner-ups that year.
Yes, absolutely.
We are Cornhusker fans.
Yes, if anyone listening to this podcast thinks that Michigan was the best NCAA football team in the 1997 season, you are incorrect. Objectively,
there is facts to back this
you
up.
can email me at wrestlinglandscape@gmail.com and I will talk about it extensively on a future episode.
It'll be in the mailbag.
We do have some questions in the mailbag, so next episode I record, I will address them, or I might do one email an episode. going forward.
You can do one today?
Oh, we could. maybe we'll close with it.
We should do one today. That way Luke and I can answer as well.
Sure.
Is it a question that I'm actually going to be able to answer?
We'll do the one that you can. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do because
Is there only 2 sent in?
there. I have 2. Yes. One of them is from a Canadian listener of ours.
Is it Bret Hart?
It is not Bret Hart,
It's not Owen.
unless he's.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Sorry.
man.
Sorry.
I think it still might be a little too soon.
Oh.
What are we, 20 years removed? and
When
it's still
is
too
it past too soon for certain events?
Well,
To talk about and
you
make
can make
jokes?
Abe Lincoln jokes, so...
You can make a.
Can we make 9/11 jokes yet?
No.
No.
Well, some people do.
Well, not on
Yeah.
this podcast. We won't.
Anyway.
Okay. Wow. This is
This is going
what
off the
has
rails.
happened?
Sorry.
You know
We
what?
started talking about Macho Man and Liz marital abuse. We're referencing 9/11 jokes. What is going on
Well,
here?
the pay-per-view was just that
The-
bad.
We don't want to talk about it.
I don't think we want to spend a lot of time on it.
And Dave Taylor, is that his name? I don't want to talk about him. Was his name Dave? Was
Yes,
it Dave?
Dave Taylor, yeah. Was he even British?
I think he is.
I don't know.
He's always portrayed as British.
All right, well.
He came out with Regal, so
Well, they portrayed Kofi Kingston as Jamaican.
he's not.
No. No.
No, he is not. He is from Massachusetts.
That is hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, Vince would do that.
So he actually was born in Ghana, but he moved to the States when he was very young.
Of course, Vince would do
So
that.
it's like Massachusetts is his home.
My goodness.
All right.
Ooh.
All right, Steiners.
Steiners
Did you
and...
ever see that segment on Raw where New Day had like a time machine? So Kofi went in it and he came out talking with a Jamaican accent again, and they tried to put him back in. He's like, "No, 2009 was my year."
That's wonderful.
It was wonderful.
That's wonderful.
It was a high spot on a Raw show. This pay-per-view.
So the Steiners.
Greg is going to be editing this episode, and he's like, "Lance, we can't put this episode on."
I don't
Okay.
blame him. I don't blame him.
So Scott looks like a lab experiment.
Yes.
Steiner's throwing people is awesome, and I'm always here for it. Steven Regal, excuse me, is very good at little things. When they do something subtle in the ring, like when they got the Greco-Roman knuckle lock going on, and one of the Steiners starts crushing his wrist, he makes very, very sure to sell it very loudly, because like that's a very small movement. So, like, most people aren't seeing that. So
Yeah.
he's smart. So he's like, I really have to oversell this so that people
Yes.
know what's going on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's
Yeah.
a smart guy, does a lot of little things well to help tell a story in the ring. Makes himself look like a total dweeb,
Yes,
Yes,
he
he
does.
does.
which is brilliant because he's not supposed to get any cheers, so he's not doing anything to get any cheers.
Oh, he always says "shut up" too.
Yes.
So he's yelling
Oh,
at somebody,
shut up!
saying at somebody.
Because I'm great at accents.
Way to utilize that accent.
I'm terrible. So, guys, I actually kind of liked this match.
Yeah, this wasn't bad.
I went 3 1/4.
Wow.
Trevor.
I don't know. It's something about when Rick Steiner goes between the legs of Scott that I just put my head down. I don't know.
Why?
It just weirds me
it's
out.
their thing, though.
I know.
their
I
thing.
don't like the Steiners. I really don't.
He's the dog-faced gremlin.
I just can't. I can't do the Steiners. I like Regal. So I give
First
it-
of all, I've never heard you say I like Regal before, so that's a step.
Well, yeah. when he was in the 2000s, I did not care for him.
We were never really huge fans of that technical style.
I like what he's
growing
doing in
up.
WCW.
Yeah, he did a lot of
So I
little
gave
things well.
I gave it 2 stars.
Okay, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, it was a step up from Disco and Saturn.
Yes, it was.
Anything is.
So, yeah, I give it 2.5. I thought that they did well. This was actually the first time in I don't know how long that I saw the Steiner Bulldog
Oh, yes.
off the top. I cannot
For real.
remember the last time I've seen one of those. So
I forgot
that
about
was a
that.
little bit of nostalgia for me.
That was very good.
But yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
I gave it 2.5 stars, right in the middle. You know,
Steiner's obviously the faces in this one.
yeah, no
they-
confusion there.
no confusion there. They retained the tag titles. DeMeltz gave this 2 stars.
Hey, I'm with him again.
Yes, you are.
2 in a row.
Meltz has been either the lowest or tied the lowest for all of our ratings on every match so far.
I don't think Dave liked this pay-per-view
Dave is
at all.
not enjoying this pay-per-view. Next, we had J.J. Dillon, the one and only.
Oh yeah. Oh, that J.
That J.J. Not the other J.J. Dillon. That J.J. Dillon. Saying that if Raven does not sign a contract with WCW, he will no longer be allowed on any future WCW shows.
Which came kind of out of nowhere because there was no mention of it in any of the Nitros I watched.
Sounds like WCW. Oh, Trevor changing rating again?
Yep.
This is like changing your answers in the middle of a test.
When I start thinking about it, then I get off the emotion or what I initially think, and can't do that.
Totally. Next, so that set up the Raven match next, where he defeated Pegleg Riggs.
Remember when you texted me that?
Blindbeard the Pirate?
Blindbeard the Pirate. Scotty Riggs, for those of you not in the know, who has an eye patch.
Because he got poked in the eye or something, didn't he, by Raven? in
No,
Nitro?
he did the drop. He did the drop toe
hold onto the chair?
And so Scotty Riggs is now blind because he hit the chair with his face. I don't. Yeah.
It's-
I've
Anyway.
never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's a
No
mix.
pun intended.
Hey, there it is.
It's a mix of old school wrestling with new school extreme stuff. Because back when a drop to hold on a chair was pretty extreme.
Wow, we've come a long way.
We've come a long way. In American wrestling, like in Japanese wrestling, they had already done their deathmatch tournament, of which Mick Foley was a part, and of course, probably. It's funny reading his book and reading how much he made for those shows. I was like, I would never do that for $150.
No.
His health insurance premium has to be so high.
You think he has health insurance?
No one would
You think
insure that guy.
Any company in the world would insure.
No one is insuring Mick Foley
He has
right
to
now.
be. The only reason he's alive is because of his health insurance.
He has no health insurance. Back then, notoriously, there was only one insurance company in the world that would insure pro wrestlers, and they were called Lloyd's of London. I'm not joking. Lloyd's of London. And for some reason, they were just either unaware about what pro wrestling was or something, but they were the only company that would insure pro wrestlers. And finally, they got wise to it and stopped insuring pro wrestlers. Rick Rude was insured by Lloyd's of London, which is why he retired, so he could keep getting his payouts. Because if he wrestled again, they'd be like, "You're not injured."
There you go.
That's how Rick Rude made off like a bandit.
That is hilarious.
And he kept getting paychecks from WWF because he would show on screen, so...
There you Rick Rude played the system,
Rick
man.
Rude's the smartest man in the business.
And he didn't even wrestle, and we're talking about him more than half the wrestlers tonight.
I think Rick Rude deserves 5 stars for this pay-per-view.
5 stars to Rick Rude. Okay, so yeah, we had Raven defeating Pegleg Riggs via KO in a no DQ match. Which
Raven's Rules match.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, not no DQ.
Guys, we're 40 minutes in on match 4.
That's halfway done.
We've said a lot of nonsense.
Okay. Oh, this is the
Sorry,
greatest.
Greg. I apologize.
So, yeah.
Greg, the editor.
Greg runs the site. The listeners know who he is.
G-Dog.
I'm sure no one calls him G-Dog.
I just did that.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, Outbreak Nutrition. Outbreak Nutrition are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at Outbreak Nutrition. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OutbreakNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OutbreakNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout.
Good God Almighty. Okay. There were some cool chair spots. It was fine. I don't know. It was a Raven match from '97. I gave it 2 stars. Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Raven was just. I thought they could have used him a little bit better. I thought the Ravens Flux stable was a good idea.
Yes.
That's a
Especially
great
in
name
97.
for a stable.
Yes.
I mean, it's '97. Grunge is at its peak.
Yes. I mean, you know, I thought there's so much good that could have come from this, and yet we just had Van Hammer carry Scotty Riggs out of a ring to end a match.
With his nipple ring.
With his nipple ring. And,
How did that man have a job?
you know.
How do half these people have a job?
And of course, he, you know, during the Perry Saturn Disco match, he no-sold the Chartbuster
Oh.
from Disco. So, you know,
Were you talking about Disco had a move called the Chartbuster?
yeah, that was his finisher.
I love wrestling.
I mean, I think that's a great name for his finisher, but I don't think he deserved to have a finisher to begin with.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I gave it. I thought it was fine. I gave it 2.5. I was
Sure.
right in the middle.
Folks, when we're talking about a no DQ style match in '97, this was nothing of what was to come. Okay? Raven had just come from being a top guy in ECW. He'd had his fair share of wars. This was incredibly tame compared to those. So don't get in your idea this was some kind of hardcore match. Trevor, thoughts?
I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know what to make of Raven. I feel like I like him, but I also feel like I don't. But maybe it was just because this was such a weird match, and he was fighting Scotty Riggs, Patchy the Pirate. So 2.5, like Luke.
2.5.
Also, a fun fact. I didn't know this before this pay-per-view, but Scotty Riggs and Buff Bagwell used to be a tag team.
They did mention that, didn't they?
They were called the American Males.
Bet they never got over 1 star.
I don't think Buff Bagwell...
That
anyway.
tag team did not sell a single ticket.
No. No one paid to see the American Males.
What Big DM have?
3/4 of a star.
I'm surprised he gave it that much.
So is the average back under 1 now again?
We're getting close.
So we're at 6 total over
Divided by
5
4.
matches.
5, or is this the 5th match?
1, 2,
Yeah, it is.
3, 4, 5. So what is that? 1.2. Dave is averaging a 1.2 rating.
And we'll get under 1.
What's saving it is the Nagata versus Dragon.
That
match.
is holding it afloat right now.
Yeah, would he give it 3 on that?
Give it 3 flat. Next we had Mongo,
Oh,
Here we
boy.
go.
McMichael, coming out to the ring with a lead pipe
Go
for no
Bears.
reason. Then we cut to a screenshot of Bill Goldberg
I forgot about this.
Was
laid
this
out.
the only time that Bill Goldberg ever had something bad happen to him in the entire history of WCW?
Listen.
My goodness.
He was attacked backstage. It was insinuated that it was Mongo with the lead pipe in the living room.
What is this, Clue?
So,
in the living room.
he asks for a new opponent. Deborah brings out Alex Wright. They had a match. I don't know why this happened.
This was the same match from Halloween Havoc.
I would have rather seen Goldberg fight,
Totally. I can't explain this.
And you hate Goldberg.
but I hate Alex Wright.
Guys, I can't explain this. It happened. I don't. Luke, say something. I have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Alex Wright's he's a fine worker.
I think so.
McMichael
Trevor's changing his rating again.
What is that? 4 out of 5 that we've changed now. Mongo is, you know, he's a typical bruiser, so you know he held his weight there.
Go Bears.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at least this time Charles Robinson didn't have to save the match.
Oh.
Because there was no saving this match.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, I gave it half a star because they showed Goldberg.
Goldberg bumped it up.
I gave it a 1.5 stars, which I immediately regret. But Trevor,
That's why I bumped mine down.
I don't edit mine mid.
Mid card.
Yeah.
I don't like Alex Wright.
Is it his accent?
No, surprisingly. 1/4 star.
1/4 star. Big Dave.
Oh no.
Demeltz.
Oh no.
-1.
I knew it.
Oh jeez.
-1.
So that's 5 stars and
Out of
6.
6.
Nah.
Yeah.
So he's
We are under 1 now.
that's like 0.8 stars.
Yeah, something
8.6.
right around there.
Oh.
Yeah. This is one heck of a pay-per-view, guys.
0.86 for Big D.
Thank God Guerrero Mysterio is next.
You know, if they had just done Ultimo and Nagata and
5 times.
and then had Eddie and Ray do like another 3 or 4 matches, this would have been a fine pay-per-view.
Oh my god.
All right, we don't need to talk about this match anymore. We've spent too much time on it.
Guys, we're 47 minutes into this podcast.
Oh man. Again, sorry, Greg.
Okay.
G-Dog.
Okay. Here we go. We have Eddie Guerrero
Hallelujah.
defending the Cruiserweight title against Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yay.
He successfully defended the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
He retained, thankfully, because they'd been hot potatoing this title.
They
around.
have. I'm actually glad it
Yes.
stuck with this. Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad there was a retaining of a title.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I briefly have to go back for the Alex Wright versus Steve McMichael match.
Why? Why do we have to go back?
Because my notes, I just said, what? That's all I wrote for my notes.
I just wrote why. That's
Just
all I
have
wrote.
questions. Luke wrote how.
There's nothing but questions.
I mean, look, the match made no sense. It made no sense.
Why Alex Wright fighting him if Goldberg's hurt? It makes no sense. They didn't build that up.
Goldberg Mongo is the match at Starrcade. This is soon to be WCW's biggest star. He's facing Mongo McMichael at their biggest show of the year.
Is
Sorry,
he gonna have a job in a year, McMichael?
I have no idea. I don't think he's around for another year.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think he is. We'll find out.
Sorry, I had to
folks.
go back for just a brief second.
This company is making money hand over fist.
There's hope for us all to make money.
This is beating WWF right now.
This is beating WWF right now.
Again, I ask you, how?
Because of
Just
NWO.
questions. Just questions.
Honestly, because of NWO. Okay, moving on.
I bet they won't survive. I guarantee it.
Dusty is rolling in his grave.
Dusty? Okay. Guerrero successfully retains. Okay.
Yes.
I have lots of things I want to say about Guerrero.
Something positive.
There's tons of heat on him in this match.
Yes, there is.
The crowd is here
Yes.
to boo Guerrero.
Yes.
Yes.
His work, okay guys, compared to the, like, how tightly and quickly and efficiently he is moving in that ring compared to everyone else that came before him. So, his work's there, the heat's there. How is Bischoff not watching this match and thinking, in a year to a year and a half, this is our next top heel?
Because you just answered, he's not watching the match.
He's too busy talking Hogan and just showing up. No, but I don't want you to how you're not watching this match and thinking, oh, this is our next top guy. Like, this is our next top heel. Like, the heat's there, the work's there. Everything's there.
He's the best heel in the business.
He's the best heel in the business. So Vince McMahon's about to be the best heel in the business at this point in 97.
Hey.
I was gonna say, what,
But,
another
like,
week or two, and he is
Yeah,
gonna be
for 2 weeks ago. No, but it's like, I'm watching this match, and that's all I can think, is that Guerrero is, within the next 12 to 18 months,
He's killing
should
it.
be your top heel.
He's killing it right now.
Because the NWO angle at this point should blow off in the next 6 months.
Sting should end it at
Sting
Starrcade.
should end it.
And
We'll
then-
see. I think maybe it should have gone on. We'll talk about that next month.
Okay, yeah.
We'll talk about that next
save
month.
it. We'll save it.
But, like, that's all I can think about is watching this match. Is that he's a money heel.
So good.
People hate him. He's amazing in the ring. People would pay money to see him.
And
win.
all the
Eddie
other
Guerrero.
heels just tell the crowd to shut up. Like,
Yeah,
that's all they do.
That's their heel work.
Shut up. That's it.
Guerrero's over here. After Mysterio does a move, Guerrero goes up to the ref and he's like, no, come here. Listen,
Yeah,
he's doing the arm drag and he's pulling my pants. And I'm
Pulling
just
my trunks, yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
But he did the hair pull
He
thing,
did the hair
too.
pull thing every time.
He's so good.
Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero.
Dripping with charisma.
Man.
This company was so short-sighted and so blind to the stars they had up and coming that they could have and should have had the best main event scene from 98 to really 2004.
We haven't even mentioned this guy because he's not in this pay-per-view. Guerrero and Jericho
could
could have carried the heels.
Yes, absolutely.
Jericho he's getting it.
Absolutely.
He's right there.
Those two guys could have carried the heels
Yes.
in WCW.
Guys, Jericho, Guerrero, Mysterio, and Benoit should have been like the big four that they were pushing after like the main event scene they had here. Like those should have been the four guys they'd earmarked for. Guerrero and Jericho were going to be the top heels. Mysterio and Benoit were going to be the top faces. Now, the problem was that all four of those guys are under 6'5". And so, of course, they can't draw money, which they all disproved because they were all heavyweight champions in WWE and did just fine. That should have been like the big four moving forward.
This match shouldn't be making us upset. It
This
should be
match-
making us happy.
Yes!
And yet,
Yes!
it's making us upset
Yes,
because...
but it's so frustrating because think about 98. Sting overcomes Hogan. Like, he should be your top face. Bret Hart comes in.
Yep.
He should be your number 2 baby face.
Yep.
Goldberg gets
Goldberg.
crazy hot.
Yep.
And Hogan is still a top guy and the best heel in the business.
Yeah.
That should have been your big 4 for 98
Yes.
99. Come 2000, those 4 guys that we're talking about, Benoit, Jericho, Mysterio, Guerrero.
Yeah.
And then, so come 2000, those 4 are...
Take over.
Yes. Have gotten the wins over the previous 4 guys, and that's your big 4. But you know what? Sting, Hart, Goldberg, and sometimes Hogan, I guess, are still there.
DDP too.
DDP, absolutely.
Yeah,
DDP's an
DDP's
upper
good.
mid-card guy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely.
Yep. U.S. title. Just have him
Yes,
fight for that.
Yes, and as much as Scott Steiner is completely roided out of his mind, he's a guy that had a fan base that was decent in the ring. Like, you
Yeah.
put him in there in a 5-minute match with him throwing folks around.
Especially when he's Big
people get
Papa
into that.
Pump.
Yes.
Yeah, his Big Papa Pump gimmick was great.
Yes.
I loved that Big Papa. I mean, not love, but I mean, I thought
Right.
for that time it was a heel that can get heat.
Yep.
Better than his tag team
Yep.
identity.
And guys, think about it. So maybe not Hall because his alcoholism really took over. But, like, Nash is still a big name
Yeah.
in 98, 99, 2000.
And he's a lot younger than Hogan is.
Yes, yes. Think about Malenko can still carry the mid card
Yeah.
as a U.S. champ, as the cruiserweight champ.
Yeah.
They still had partnerships with AAA in Mexico and New Japan, so they can still bring guys over like Yuji Nagata and
Kidman
Ultimo
was
Dragon.
fine.
Kidman,
I was
Billy
just thinking.
Kidman.
I was just saying a Kidman Raven. They can do Raven's Flock. You got it right there,
Guys, they had the work and the charisma to build new top guys
They had the talent.
by 99 and 2000 at the latest, and they had a good enough supporting staff to have a real solid mid-card moving forward. Because we haven't even talked about Chavo or Juventud Guerrera or Psychosis or La Parca. Like,
Bischoff has one person to blame.
Also,
guys, they absolutely had the talent to have a
Oh,
new
yeah.
high-profile main event scene
yeah.
with fresh faces and like these big names to still like work less often, like Sting and Bret Hart and Hogan, but still come in and work programs.
Yep.
And like Hogan's gonna sign a contract to work 5 matches a year.
oh,
Like,
absolutely he would.
like Hart's gonna sign a contract to work 5 matches
Yes.
a year. Like,
Have them show up at your Big Four.
yeah.
Have them show up at Starrcade. Have them show up at, your Great American Bash, your,
Yep.
One of the
Super
3.
Brawl.
Super Brawl, yeah.
They absolutely had the talent and the names to have a new main event scene and a new mid card come 99 and 2000. Now, would any of them been as hot as Stone Cold and The Rock? No.
No.
They would have been number 2.
yes.
But they would have not only kept existing, they would have been profitable.
They would
Yes.
They would have kept
It
up.
would have, yes, it would have still been competition. They would have been losing come 99, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think anything was going to change that. McMahon was too hot as a heel. Stone Cold was too hot as a face. And then obviously The Rock exploded
Rock,
as a
yeah.
face.
They had too.
They had too much.
Too much.
WWF were still going to be winning, but WCW could keep existing.
Yeah.
And still be profitable.
Yeah.
Because people always complain that Jamie Kellner, when he took over the AOL Time Warner merger, he's like, oh, wrestling, we're getting rid of wrestling. He got rid of wrestling because they were losing $60 million a year. If they're making $60 million a year,
I think
he's
I'd wanna
not
keep
canceling.
wrestling.
Right? He's not canceling wrestling on his network.
No, not if
If
you're
they're
making that much.
profitable, he's not getting rid of you. Like, it doesn't matter if he hates wrestling. If they're making his company money, he's not getting rid of it. People like to think that, like, oh, Kellner had this vendetta against wrestling. If they're making money, he doesn't care.
Yep.
He doesn't have a vendetta against making money.
Right.
Nobody does.
mean,
Right. It is not Kellner's fault. It's Hogan, it's Bischoff, it's Russo. And to a smaller extent, Kevin Sullivan, but that's a different story. So, like, they absolutely have the ability to move on.
And he's right here, Eddie Guerrero.
And he's right here. And Mysterio, we haven't even talked about Mysterio
No,
yet.
talked about
Mysterio's young here at this point, isn't he?
So young.
Yeah.
What do they say, 21?
Yeah, he's
22?
young.
Carry the cruiserweight, him and Ultimo Dragon.
God.
Him and Kidman and Dragon could have had some amazing matches.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. La Parca.
Guys, listen.
Psychosis. I mean, oh my god.
Oh,
All
I
those
didn't
guys.
care for Psychosis. But
Oh,
anyways.
I did not care for the Godfather. Anyway,
So yeah, this match was great.
this match. This is now the match that is carrying the pay-per-view.
Yes, because it's so funny to watch these two guys work, especially in the context of watching all the matches before it.
Yeah.
And then you see these guys, and it's like, the Christmas of everything they do, the timing. Now, a thing on the timing. There were like 3 spots that were kind of botched.
Yes, I was
I
going to
wrote
say
that down. There
Yeah.
was a few spots that were a little sloppy.
Yes, there were
But I mean,
absolutely a few things
very
they missed.
noticeable.
You got to remember too, they're coming off the match of the
Yes,
year
absolutely.
at Halloween
Oh,
Havoc.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That was... Oh.
So I don't know how you top that unless you get a 5-star match.
right.
But so, I mean, you've got a lot to live up to.
A
so
lot to live
it's-
up to.
I felt like when I was watching it, I felt like I was comparing it to that
Right.
match. I was like, oh, they didn't.
It's
it
not
wasn't
quite as good.
And then I was like, no, Luke, this is still the best match
Yes.
of the night.
Here's the deal, though. If I can be honest, if they had hit those 3 spots they botched,
Yeah,
I think it would have been better than Havoc.
Because
They were big.
Close.
They tried some big things.
It would have been close.
And I think if they would have hit it, it would have been better.
I don't even.
but-
what did I rate that one?
Nonetheless, this was an excellent match. Their work is just through the roof. The creativity is through the roof. Guerrero and Mysterio are geniuses
They're great.
at Americanizing Lucha Libre to where they're keeping all of the cool spots, but they're giving it American psychology and pacing it in an American style way. Like, guys, that's not an easy thing to do. When you
So
watch
good.
wrestling from different countries and you realize how differently they're just like thinking about the match, to incorporate a different company's style is very, very difficult. Not everyone can do it. When Shawn Michaels was in Japan, he sucked. Like, he's an amazing American wrestler, but in Japan...
One of the better ones of all time.
Yes,
American
yes.
Wrestler, yeah.
But in Japan, he sucked. Like, that's just not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And these guys are geniuses at it.
It's stepping out here.
Yeah.
Are these the two of the top wrestlers in WCW right now?
Absolutely. Are they the 2 best? I think it's these 2, Malenko and Benoit.
I was gonna, you got to include these guys in the top 5.
Yes. If you're talking just bell to bell, I'd say these 2, Malenko and Benoit, are the best 4 in WCW at this moment.
They're so good.
So,
It's
just
so fun to watch.
unreal match. Like I said, there were a couple botches. I gave it... What did I get? I gave it 3 3/4. Trev?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm more of a perfectionist, but the
botches took you out of it too much?
Yeah, I remember those more than how good it was.
Yeah.
So I went 3.5.
3.5 from Trev?
I went same with you, 3 3/4.
3 3/4.
Yeah,
There you go.
If like you said, I think if those 3 botches hadn't occurred, I'd have been pushing 4.5.
Oh, yeah.
Probably 4
Easy.
3/4.
Yep.
Because they kept it. They upped
Yep.
it from Hell in
It's so
Havoc. It
good.
was so good.
And I think what made it feel that way was watching this after the previous 5 matches. And,
this stood
'cause, like,
out so much.
Sometimes watching bad wrestling is good because it makes you understand how good the good wrestling is.
Or maybe
That's
I
true.
was worn out, and that's why I went lower.
Sure.
on it.
Sure.
5 matches. of-
Because so, like, I know you guys don't watch New Japan, but they just got done with their big tournament of the year. You know, when it's just like, it's 91 matches in the whole tournament.
Dear
And
Lord.
yeah, but it's like all of them are so literally like. Meltzer gave 56 of the 91 4 stars or better.
Jeez.
So it's just like this unreal tournament, you know? And so it's like, and I get so spoiled. But like, I see a 4-star match in this tournament, and I'm like, it was fine.
So it's like watching Alabama Clemson like 15 times in
Right,
a row.
Yeah.
right. You can start nitpicky on stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
So, but then like I come and watch this pay-per-view, and I'm like, oh no. Like, Kazuchika Okada really is the best wrestler in the world right now. Like, Will Ospreay really is the best wrestler in the world right now. Because it's just... Because the things that they're doing, especially compared to like this 1997 pay-per-view, is just so astronomically unimaginable. Anyway, I should show you the Okada-Ospreay match sometime. Because I know you like Ospreay.
I do like Osprey.
You like Ospreay. Have you ever seen a Will Ospreay match, Luke?
I have not, no.
We'll find you a good
We'll
one.
do some research.
We'll do some research. There's plenty of them on YouTube, so...
Honestly, I can find them.
Oh, yeah. Where are we? Oh, Big Dave.
Yeah.
Dave gave this 4 flat.
I can see that.
His highest rated on the show.
Yep.
Well, so we're back over 1 for an average.
Yep. So
What is
that's
that?
9 and 7,
7
matches.
Oh, excellent.
1.2 ish.
And
Sure.
2 matches have given like what, 7 to that?
Yes.
Dear Lord.
Okay, next.
Anyway.
We had Kurt Hennig
Yeah,
defending the U.S. title over Ric Flair in a no DQ match. So I want to give WCW credit. This booking made sense.
it did.
2 months ago at
It
Fall
did.
Brawl,
Yep.
Hennig turned on the 4 Horsemen at War Games, causing them to lose.
Yep.
The month after, they had a match which ended in a DQ because there was a grudge match, so they're going after each other.
Yep.
So we get the blow off in a no DQ match
Yep.
for the U.S. title. I want to give Bischoff credit. That made total sense.
It did.
It works.
Well, match made sense.
Well done, Bischoff.
Plus, Bischoff putting Flair in the U.S. scene keeps him out of the world title scene, so Hogan doesn't feel threatened. Don't think for a second that was not a consideration. Everything is done to appease Hogan. Keep that in mind, guys. The reason why Guerrero's not a top guy in a year, Hogan. The reason why Flair is wrestling for the U.S. title, Hogan. That is Bischoff's mindset. You have to keep that in mind. The reason why Sting doesn't go over clean next month at Starrcade, Hogan. Don't think for a second Hogan does not have a big hand in destroying this company. Moving on.
Screw you, Hogan. Screw you, Hogan.
So I wrote one note for this match. Why was this so long?
It was very long.
It was so long.
I got on my phone at one point.
Same.
Here's the one thing though. If they would have taken out their in-crowd fighting,
Yes,
and just stuck with it, I thought this would have been a great
Yes.
match.
it made sense. It was brutal. They worked it like a grudge match.
What did they do in the crowd? They just threw punches. So
Yeah,
it's just
and
like they're walking around
Yeah.
5 minutes, punches, and it's like,
So what is this, Memphis?
Like I
In
was
79?
bored after 30 seconds, but
Yes.
then at the end I was more interested than I was at the beginning because they actually let these two talented guys do their thing.
and I thought it was a good match, but it was so long.
So long. Way longer than it needed to be, especially after a crappy pay-per-view.
yeah.
So, I gave this 2 flat. Luke?
I gave it 3 flat.
3 flat?
And it was
Makes
I
sense.
didn't grade it on anything they did in the crowd. I just graded the match in the ring. And I gave it
Perfect.
3.
Trevor?
I gave it 3.5.
Wow.
Hey, okay.
I liked it.
Yes.
I think I've done that in the past too, where we've been in a Flair match.
Yep.
And, it's just, there's too many things that are wrong with it. But Flair just works for me.
Pleasure. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
That's it.
Flair, guys, this was a perfectly worked American-style grudge match.
Yeah.
It had psychology that made sense with Flair going after Hennig's leg because he wanted to beat him with the figure 4.
Yep.
There's some cool chair spots. Like,
Oh,
actually,
that chair spot was
yeah,
amazing.
you don't even really expect Flair to be creative with chair spots. But it's
No.
not exactly as cool.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny when Hennig walked down. He sat on his chair as he was thrown down.
Yeah. Hennig's selling like a genius.
Because he can.
Because he
does.
can't. Like, there was a lot of positive things to this match.
Yes.
But way too long.
Yeah.
Then the crowd brawling was not for me. But, overall, it was a perfectly good American grudge match. Meltz gave it 2.5.
Okay. I can see that.
So he's in the range with all of us.
Yeah.
Main event. The 60-man 3-ring
There's a lot to talk about here.
World War III Battle Royal. So, just right off the bat, 3 members from the Viano family from Mexico are eliminated in 30 seconds.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
To start
I can't
the
keep.
match.
I can't keep up the first 3 minutes.
Just
I
like-
cannot keep up.
Well,
Just this legendary family absolutely disgraced in the
And
first 60 seconds.
the last Nitro before this, the Vianos were out in the ring doing a tag match.
Oh, were they?
Or no, it was a cruiserweight battle royal.
Oh,
They had a
awesome.
cruiserweight battle
That
royal.
sounds fun.
And the Giant comes out and clears every cruiserweight out of the ring.
Classic.
Literally in one night, they bury the entire cruiserweight division.
Classic.
Oh my god.
And I'm thinking,
Oh my god.
this just ruined your entire cruiserweight division.
Oh my god.
Classic.
I did not know that happened.
See, I'm glad Luke does this.
Oh my god.
Because I don't want to do it, but Luke does it.
I mean, I get it, you're trying to make the Giant look good, but don't crush your entire cruiserweight division in one night.
They do not want to build up the cruiserweight division. They do not. It's like the first 2 matches of pay-per-view. They bury the guys.
Yeah. So anyway,
Eric Bischoff has not spent a second thinking past next month's pay-per-view.
No, he thinks in the now.
Like,
he thinks what he has right now.
I love the way Jack Encarnacio said it from the Laps Fan podcast. Like, Bischoff's like, you think I have a second to think about anything except for the next quarter-hour TV rating. And it's just like, you look at these shows, that's all he's thinking about. He's not thinking at all about any kind of future for WCW.
no.
All he's thinking about is Monday's ratings.
Yeah, he needs somebody to tell him, hey, in 2000, here's the guys that could be
Yep.
up there. You should be working towards this.
Yep.
But he didn't have anybody like that, and he could only
Nope.
think in the now.
And guys, honestly, part of that is from Bischoff not really being an old school guy in the business. Like, he was with the AWA very briefly, and it's absolutely dying days. So there's really nothing to learn there. Because the business had absolutely passed by Vern Gagne. He becomes like the 6th string announcer for WCW's, like, I'm sure, Sunday morning TV show. And then
Where they recap the week.
Where they recap the week. And then all of a sudden he's made executive producer. I don't think Bischoff had enough of a wrestling mind to run a wrestling promotion. He had a good TV mind. He needed a wrestling booker alongside his TV executive producer.
I was gonna say, I thought he had a good TV mind,
He did.
but I don't think he
And it
understood
showed.
how to. Yeah, he just didn't understand how to. Well,
no.
they even said, I thought on the Monday Night Wars, they said WWE was a wrestling company that did TV. WCW was a TV company that did wrestling.
Yeah, and Bischoff just wasn't thinking for it at all. Hogan got way too much control contractually. Like, they put it in his contract that Hogan had creative control, and that just crippled the company from moving on from Hogan. Because when that man can choose when he loses and when he doesn't, you're just never going to be able to move on. So, and Bischoff just had it in his head that Hogan,
Was
Piper...
God.
Yeah, Hogan was God. That Hogan, Piper, and Macho Man were the only people that could draw a dime. That's just the only way he saw
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
And the problem, what made it worse is that in 98, Austin gets hot. And for the first time in 83 weeks, they lose the Monday Night TV rating. So Bischoff panics, and he starts hot-shotting all this stuff, and he's defaulting the guys that have drawn instead of building new guys to draw. And that stuff just starts crippling the company.
Yep. He got afraid, panicked.
Yep. You have to stay the course. You have to think about the future. Which, honestly, I know this is a totally different discussion, but that makes me... I have way more trust in the AEW to do stuff like that. Because Chris Jericho has been very explicit in his podcast talking about building a company for the future. And always having, like, veterans that are past their prime to help, like, lead the younger guys.
Mm-hmm.
People in their prime right now that are ready to main event and draw money.
Yep.
And younger people that, like, you're building to get to that spot.
Well-
and always having those three levels of people in your company.
I mean, he saw that firsthand.
See, that's why Jericho is such a valuable asset.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. He was in CMLL in
Yep.
Mexico,
Yep.
the biggest and longest running promotion in CML in Mexico, where, like, I don't know if you guys know a lot about their business model, but it is literally impossible for them to lose money the way they've set up their arena deals and their contracts. They literally can't lose money. He's worked in New Japan and other places in Japan.
Right.
Smoky Mountain, which he saw die under Jim Cornette.
Cornette.
ECW, which there's a lot to learn there.
Yes, there is.
Business lessons. WCW, well, there's a lot to learn what not to do. And WWF, WWE. Like, he has seen a lot.
Yeah.
He has seen a lot.
Yep.
I think he's an incredibly valuable asset about both what to do and what not to do.
And he's also a guy that he's going to draw,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not going to be at all concerned with about putting
No.
people over. That is
Zero.
not going to be something he's against
Nope.
in the slightest.
He knows he's in his 40s.
Yep. He knows he's in the twilight, and he
Yep.
is fine with that, and
Yes.
he's willing to put people over for the good of the company.
Yep. And he's one of those guys, he's always willing... He's very open-minded to the younger guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he gets it. He knows that things are changing. And, like, that's why it's fun listening to his podcast. Because, like, even when he was in WWE, like, he doesn't know any of these indie guys.
No.
But, like, he asks about him. He's like, oh, I've heard he's really good. Like, what's his deal?
Yeah.
And so, like, he learns these guys, and he's so open-minded about it. And, like, even Joey Ryan's penis gimmick. Like, Jericho's, like, that's not something that would happen 25 years ago.
No.
But Jericho gets it. He's like, oh, yeah, any smart person in the business would take that bump. He's like, because it works.
It works.
And so Jericho gets it. So I think he's a very valuable asset.
I would have rather talked about this than the Battle Royal.
Yeah, I know.
So,
We have to talk about this Battle Royal.
Save it for next podcast.
Guys, so this Battle Royal was unending. What did I even write about this? I'm sick of NWO shenanigans.
Yeah, it was 43 minutes, by the way.
oh.
Because I timed it. I watched it this morning. Because I had one more match and I had to time out before I left to come here. 43 minutes.
Oh my god.
43
Well, and
minutes.
of course, unlike every other wrestler, the NWO has their own intro.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. And they get in the same ring.
Same ring.
Yes. So can I say, at this point...
And they've done it every year so
Every
far.
year.
Can I say this, though? At this point in WWE's history, that works for me. They're
Yes.
the top heel faction.
I'm fine with it, but I know in 2 years I'm
Right,
done
well,
with
see,
it.
that's the problem. This is the last time that works for me.
Yep.
Because, see, that's the problem with WCW. They did, like, putting NWO over huge and having them take over a show, that was the right thing to do. The problem was, they never moved on from it.
No, they kept doing it.
Like, it's the right thing to do now.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, see, and that was Bischoff's mindset. You have to move on before it starts losing you money. You have to be ready before it starts losing you money. So, when it comes to just, like, the match itself, I have nothing to say. Do you guys have anything to say about the match itself? Before we get to, like, the last 5 minutes of the match?
I kind of liked at the end. Yeah, we'll talk about the end here in a second.
Yeah, I just think I don't think there's a way this match can work. I think there's some things when you think about a match, you say, "Oh, this is a great idea," but you need somebody in your ear saying, "You know, this probably won't work. How can we have 3 cameras where you won't see any of the action? Half the time, guys are just punching each other.
Half the time. That's the whole match.
Yeah.
Well, and the other part
especially
is,
when you keep 50 guys and halfway through the match,
Yeah.
you got to keep getting guys out. So it's like you have 3 camera angles, and then you zoom in on one. Something else happens in this ring, so it's just like the max you can do is like you have to do 1 ring.
Yeah.
You could try 2 rings, but 1 ring, Battle Royal, 20 guys, 30 guys in a ring. That way you can focus on the ring, see everything that's happening. There's just no way to do 3 rings, 60 guys.
It's an impossible a match to watch on TV.
Yep.
It's impossible.
Yeah, because you're trying to watch. Oh, DDP's over here. Oh, and now he's over. You're
Like
just
live,
oh
I'm
my
sure it was
gosh.
crazy.
I'm sure it was cool, yeah.
Live, I'm sure that was amazing, but you can't watch it on. You can't watch it on pay-per-view.
Can't watch
It's an
it.
impossible match to watch. At least when the WWE does their Royal Rumble, all 30 guys aren't in the ring at the same time.
Yep.
They can space it out. They can
Royal
get
Rumble
their
is good.
spots, pick their timing, and it works.
Yep.
This, it's just a massive. It's like a car accident.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Royal Rumble is like the best Battle Royal style match.
Yeah.
Yes.
World War III is just
Nope.
Too much going on.
I love the idea, but you got to be realistic and say it just doesn't work.
Doesn't work. And guys, think about also, the extra 1,500 tickets they couldn't sell because they had 2 extra rings in the
2 extra
arena.
rings that they had to make room for.
Also, how does DDP always fight in jeans?
That dude, let me tell you.
I literally was thinking that. I wrote it down. And I said, how can he do this every single time?
He's such a crazy success story because he started wrestling at like 35.
Yeah, he's
Like,
not
just
like
unreal.
he's not like a prodigy. He's just
No.
like a guy who picked it up.
Yeah. Well, like you ask him, he just like worked his butt off and he made it happen.
Worked his tail off.
Like, well, and it helped that Bischoff really liked him.
that never hurts.
He was Bischoff's neighbor, so he.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
Oh, fantastic!
Oh, that is funny.
Yes. So he got opportunities closer to the main event scene when a lot of other people didn't. So
Okay.
which is because
Well,
Hogan,
he worked.
He worked hard. Like I'm not saying he was handed anything or
No.
nepotism. He worked hard, but like the way Hogan and Nash were politicking in the back, not many people were going to slip through the cracks. And I think it's because of his friendship with Bischoff that like he is the reason why he was only one of the few. Because there are a lot of people that worked hard that did deserve to move up that didn't make it. So, and I think that was the difference between him making it to the main event scene and other people didn't.
Yeah.
So, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's get to the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It comes down to the last 10 guys, where it's
Yes.
5 NWO members.
Yep.
Oh, so first of all, only 59 dudes came out.
Yes.
Instead of 60.
Yeah.
Kevin
Sorry.
Nash is supposed to come out as a 60th
Kevin Nash
guy.
was supposed to be the 60th guy. God forbid he takes a bump to get paid, though. So,
And it's just like, yeah, it's like they're going to allow it.
Yeah.
He can come out whenever he wants.
so it gets down to the last 5. Or, I'm sorry, last 10. 5 NWO guys, 5 WCW guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
The NWO music hits, and Hulk Hogan comes out.
Well, no, that's
No,
not,
that's later.
That's
Oh!
when it's down to 2-on-1.
My mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Hull turns around,
That's
sees
right.
he's alone, and then he gets into the ring and points.
And
That's
the
right.
point,
You're
yeah.
so right. So the last 10, which was actually... This was actually kind of hot.
This was a good
That was
idea.
a good
When it was the
idea,
5 NWO versus the 5 WCW.
This was a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I like
5
that.
WCW were Luger, Giant, DDP,
Yes. Oh boy.
and 2 other guys. So
That probably didn't matter.
that probably didn't matter. So that was hot. I liked that. The crowd was into it. It gets down to 2 WCW guys and Scott Hall.
Yeah. Giant and DDP and Scott Hall.
Giant, DDP, and Scott Hall.
yeah,
Thank
like
you.
4 got eliminated in 2
Yeah.
seconds. It was a big mess right
Yep.
there.
And then Scott Hall points to the ramp, and the music hits. Hulk Hogan comes out.
Yep.
Which then I guess he's taking Nash's spot as number 60.
Which is funny because, the winner of this faces the winner of
Yeah,
Hogan,
Hogan
Sting.
Sting.
So if Hogan wins this and then beats Sting, it's like...
But see, here's the thing, though. I thought, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's the stupidest thing. And then I'm like, no, that's brilliant. Because what they could do is they could have a point at Super Brawl where Hogan comes out and says, I'm my own challenger. And then that is when Goldberg could come out and just destroy the place.
That's true.
Like, that would have been perfect.
That's
That
true.
would have been a good idea.
They had an opportunity to do that, but of course they screwed it.
Right. And I think it was a little early for Goldberg at this point.
Well, not until Super Brawl.
I see.
In February.
That's still only 3 months away.
Yeah.
He did get really hot really early. In
Yeah,
98,
I just-
though. Like, he's right on... Like, it's
Because was
just
it
before he
June, the
explodes.
Nitro, where he beat Hall and Hogan? In the same
Was
night?
it May?
It was summer. It was summer.
It was summer. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
You know what we should do in addition to this? We should do the Nitro at the Georgia Dome where he beats Hogan. We should do that. We should also do the very last Nitro ever.
Oh, gosh.
So Hogan comes out. These 2 are going at it. And then we see Sting descend
Yes.
from above,
A taller Sting,
beckoning. Yes.
A Sting
which-
that's now 7 feet tall.
With a mask
which I didn't catch.
and long blonde hair. So he comes down, he attacks Giant, eliminates Giant,
Yes.
Yeah.
eliminates DDP,
Yep.
Yes.
Scott Hall, and Hogan just hops out, I think. I don't
Hogan
think
just hopped
Yeah,
out.
he got scared and just walked out.
Oh, that's right, because Hogan got scared of Sting and jumped out. And then, so Scott Hall wins your World War III 60-man Battle Royal. Sting unmasks himself to reveal that it is Kevin Nash.
Yes.
So Sting and Hogan, I'm sorry, Nash and Hogan got paid God knows what for a combined 5 minutes of work.
Ted Turner's mustache, I
Ted
think.
Turner's mustache. And then so NWO just beats on DDP afterwards. Just all NWO just kind of like meandering in the ring.
Yeah. And then it
the
ends.
pay-per-view goes off the air. Guys, listen. So I get the NWO getting heat. Like Scott Hall winning makes all the sense in the world, knowing that Sting's winning
Makes
next
sense,
month.
yeah.
Totally fine with Scott Hall. I'm actually fine that the match was super boring, but the ending of the match I liked, besides number 60 coming out
Yes.
then.
Late.
Like, just have number 60 come out as an NWO member, it just comes down to that, and it ends the same way. But what should have happened, well, the NWO is just meandering in the ring after the match. The real Sting descends
Yes.
and starts scattering NWO, because that's how you build effing heat for your big match next month.
I haven't seen them build Sting at any of the pay-per-views.
No!
None.
No!
It's probably
None.
happening at Nitro, but it's certainly not happening at the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I've never seen Sting. He comes out, points his bat at people, and walks out. And you're like, I don't know what's going on with Sting.
Do you know how hot that would have been if Sting showed up? Just swinging like a madman?
That place would have gone nuts.
Nuts! Talk about building heat for next month. Everyone that bought World War III was going to buy Starrcade if he did that. Every last person, no
Well,
exceptions.
they even started chanting,
We want Sting!
Yeah, they did right away. Yep.
Guys,
Because they knew this was a perfect...
Yep.
I mean, I don't think WCW crowds were super intelligent, but they knew this
Right,
was
yeah.
the perfect spot for
Yes.
When it was 2-on-2, yeah, Hogan was
Yep.
out there. They're like, we want Sting.
Guys,
and I was like,
knew it.
let's do it.
because listen, the NWO had gotten one over on everyone in the company.
Yep.
They had been running rampant for a year and a half. To build your big match, the challenging babyface has to get a little comeuppance in the build-up. He has to. Okay? The challenger always has to have something going into the title match.
Yeah.
This was that something that they should have done.
Yeah, I mean,
Us-
you got to use the pay-per-views to build, in not just Nitros, but like the
Right.
pay-per-views, because that's where it's like the guys have bigger stages
Right.
and they build bigger rapport.
Right.
Well, especially because usually on the Nitros following a pay-per-view, they always do like a recap of the big things
Yep.
that happen. That would have been a perfect opening to the next Nitro.
You replay that shot.
Yeah, especially
Every
the
Nitro
people that
building
didn't
up
get the
to
pay-per-views,
Starrcade.
they
A
see it, they
million
go,
times.
oh man,
They're like, oh, I
Sting.
should have got that pay-per-view.
He cleared,
Yes.
he cleared out 12 NWO members.
Why do you think after Survivor Series 2014, I
Yep.
got the WWE Network?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I didn't see freaking Sting.
Yep. I think they missed it. Because when the group has been as dominant as the NWO was, the challenger, especially the challenging babyface, has to have something going into it. This was that something, but God forbid the NWO show any kind of weakness in the build-up.
Bischoff has so many good ideas, but he misses little things so often that it's just like he's not good.
See, I want to qualify what you said. I think he had one good idea.
Oh, only
The
one.
NWO.
Well, I'm talking about
And
little
couldn't move
things.
past
I'm
it.
talking about little things within
Sure.
the NWO
You're right. You're
matches
right.
building up. It's like, he has so many good ideas, I think, that I see from pay-per-view to pay-per-view.
Yep.
But then it's just these little things he misses. Put Sting in there.
You know what I think it is? I think he understands all the pieces to the puzzle. He just doesn't know how to put it together.
I think that's part of it, yeah.
Ooh,
I
that's
think
good.
part of it, too, is that Hogan and Nash are in his ear.
That's true.
Saying, no, Sting shouldn't
Yes.
get come up and
Yeah.
on us.
Yeah.
Because think about the heat that gives us going into the match.
He needs
Yeah.
someone else
You've
in
been
his ear.
dominant
Yep.
for a year and a half.
Well, now here's the ending. One of the reasons why I think they needed to sort of separate Nash from the other NWO is because the Wolfpack is coming here in a few months.
That's right.
And I think they needed to make Hall more of an ally to Hogan and sort of separate... Now, I'm not sure that's why
Sure.
they did that, but I think that kind of helps it make sense
Right.
down the road.
Right. So I get that. The Wolfpack should have never been an idea in the first place.
It shouldn't
And
have.
I'm wondering when Bischoff came up with the idea for the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
I think Nash
Like-
did.
I was going to say, I was going to say, I'm almost positive it was good.
I know
Nah,
very
it
little
was
about the
Nash.
Wolfpack.
So,
Because
you will.
Hogan's like, oh yeah, I'll do pay-per-views with Nash.
Yeah.
I'll do 100 of them with him.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah, but anyway, yeah.
that's that.
Hallelujah.
It's World War III,
We didn't
97.
give our ratings for this match.
Oh, I gave it half a star.
I gave it 3/4 of a star.
Oh, I gave it 3.
Oh,
quarters or a 3 stars?
3 stars.
Oh, look at you.
I liked it.
Big Dave gave it half a star as well.
Ah,
I liked from starting the last 5 minutes to 4 minutes, or
Yes.
to 1 minute left.
I was gonna say the part of the ending was good.
4 minutes
Yes.
I liked.
4 minutes can't save a 43-minute match. Anyway, this has been Rasslin Rewind. This was an hour and 20-minute podcast.
There you go.
I'm exhausted.
It was an exhausting paper.
It was an exhausting pay-per-view. But we had a lot of really good discussions about the full context of WCW,
Yeah.
how this plays into their future. So, folks, thanks for coming along this journey with us. We got the big one next. That might be a 3-hour podcast.
That's gonna be long.
Talking about Starrcade
It's gonna
97.
be long.
So thanks for listening. For Luke and Trevor, I'm Lance. Thank you so much for listening, and take care.